Welcome back to criminal law class. In today's class, let me explore how the law aims to help jurors in the absence of a clear confession from the defendant and how they can still ascertain the defense intentions, that is their mens rea, and focus on the establishment of direct intention and indirect intention. And remember, direct intention, according to the case of R versus Mohan 1975, is generally taken to mean to imply that aim or purpose, a decision to bring about insofar as it lies within the accused power, the commission of the offence. And remember, indirect intention, the test comes from the case of R versus Woolen. The jury may find intention if 1. The consequence was virtually certain to result from the defendant's action. This is the objective part of the test. And 2, the defendant appreciated the consequence as a virtual certainty. This is the subjective part of the test. Now take this example. Imagine a defendant throws a heavy brick from a rooftop onto a crowded street below during a riot and a passerby dies. And imagine a defendant stating at trial it never crossed their mind that dropping a brick from a bridge would kill someone. How does a jury decide whether the defendant has the mens rea for defence of murder? Here, Section 8 of the Criminal Justice Act 1967 provides some assistance. When determining whether a person has committed an offence, the court A. shall not be bound in law to infer that he intended or foresaw a result of his actions by reason only it's being a natural and probable consequence of those actions, but B. shall decide whether he did intend or foresee that result by reference to all the evidence, drawing such inferences from the evidence as appears proper in the circumstances. In other words, the jury are asked to consider all the evidence and drawing inferences from the evidence as appears proper to them to determine the defendant's intention. The effect of Section 8 is that the jury does not have to simply accept what the defendant says. In this example given, it would be obvious to a reasonable person that throwing a large brick from a high place onto a crowded street would kill someone or at least cause serious harm. But remember, the jury must not conclude simply based on what a reasonable person would foresee. The jury would still have to conclude the defendant either had a direct intention, either it was their aim and purpose to achieve that outcome, or an indirect intention, that is, the consequence was virtually certain and the defendant appreciated the consequence was virtually certain. And Section 8 allows a jury to decide whether he, that's the defendant, did intend or foresee that result by reference to all the evidence, drawing such inferences from the evidence as appears proper in the circumstances. Think about it. Now, in the next class, I will examine recklessness, which is a different but equally important form of mens rea and features in many criminal offences. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment and don't forget to follow and subscribe for more.